Welcome to a new episode of Age of Imperialism. Today we will be looking at the first look to Age of Imperialism 1.3. So, for those that do not know, Age of Imperialism is a mod I've been working on and I have released multiple updates of for a long time now. And it's basically my magnum opus. And until now, it was mostly focused on the imperialist age, so the era of colonialism, industrialization. So if you can see, the main scenario was 1815, but with update 1.3, we'll do something very different. And that is because the world has been changing a lot. And you could ask, what do I mean by that? Well, the world has been changing IRL. And that means that the new main scenario of Age of Imperialism will not be in the imperialist age, but it will be in the neo-imperialist age, which is what we will call basically nowadays. So as you all know, we have stuff like neo-imperialism in Africa, neo-colonialism, then we have neo-imperialism in other areas of the world, but recently a specific area of the world had an outburst of imperialism, and I'm not gonna mention it, but you all know what I'm referring to. So the new updates will bring this new scenario, which will be equally as full of stuff as the old main scenario, but it will be 2022, the calm before the storm, and it will be focused on the modern age and the future. So basically you will be able to do multiple paths with your nation, which will be one of many, and you will be able to do like an event tree, like from TSGW, which was another of my mods. Of course, play at 0% aggressiveness, and today we'll be playing as Turkey. So you could ask, why Turkey? Well, Turkey is a very interesting state because it has been doing a lot of stuff recently, stuff you could consider interesting in the modern age, and stuff you could consider imperialism. It starts in a very peculiar position, and I don't want to get to the main like countries that are in the scenario. So of course, as many can expect, of course Russia will be one of the main countries of this scenario, but we will not be focusing on Russia. We'll be focusing on Turkey for now, but eventually I will do gameplay reveals of other countries that have events in Age of Imperialism 1.3. Also, Age of Imperialism 1.3 updates some portraits, some leaders, like you can see Olaf Scholz in Germany, Zelensky in Ukraine, Mario Draghi in Italy, and stuff like this. It also updates some provinces. I updated this area here to make it look exactly like it is IRL. Then it also updates some new provinces, and it also updates more things, like it corrects some bugs that were happening in the old versions and more. But the main focus is this scenario, so let's get right into it. Turkey in 2022. The state of Turkey, recently renamed to Turkiye, has been one of the greatest regional powers of the Middle East for more than half a century. Its massive population and a large army have made it a fair heir to the Ottoman Empire. Nowadays, Turkey is in the hands of Erdogan, a politician that has ruled the country controversially for almost 20 years. So that is the introduction events. As you can see, we are ruled by Erdogan, we have an army in Ankara, and we have minorities, which are mainly just Kurds. Yes, just Kurds, basically. Foreign policy. Turkey's foreign policy has changed swiftly in the time that Erdogan has gone to power. From the bastion of neutrality Turkey has been following Ataturk's desires, the Turkish nation has recently become more aggressive and interventionist, even arriving to the point of officially entering Syria and occupying parts of their land. Okay, so if you can see, that's exactly what's happening. We have Turkish occupied Syria, which is our vassal, along with northern Cyprus. And Turkish occupied Syria, even if we're not at war with Syria, is still like our vassal. And we recently captured Aleppo. Economic troubles. Turkey's economy has fallen into a steep decline in the last 20 years. What was once one of the most prosperous countries of the Middle East is now a hyperinflated developing state. Unfortunate. So our economy is nerfed a lot. It goes way worse than it was earlier. Turco-Libyan Pact. The Turkish intervention in the past decade in the Libyan civil war has succeeded in ending the civil war and creating a pro-Turkish national government that has recently concluded its first round of elections since the end of the war. It is time for us to make public our involvement in the war and to create a pact with Libya so we can continue our influence on it. Libya is part of Turkish sphere. So you can see we make a diplomatic pact of non-aggression and we also improve relations. So now Libya isn't part of our sphere, almost has 100 relations with us. I think we could change the color a bit to make it match more the fact that they are in our sphere of influence. The state of Turkish society. A general depression has slowly taken the Turkish population. With the new variant spreading and causing more deaths, the economy continuing its decline and the future of the country's youth being uncertain, the happiness of the country as a whole has declined. The future does not look bright. So more economic upheaval and the happiness goes down. We might want to reduce the taxes here so we don't have too much happiness problems. I'm not gonna spoil what's happening in the north since it will spoil everything, but I won't. Sending more money to Libya. To continue our pact with Libya, we must send them funding to reconstruct their war-torn nation, so that one day we can reap the benefits of their economic recovery through more oil money or whatever means of repayment they have. So this of course will give some money to Libya, will improve relations even further, and will cripple our economy, which will go a bit southwards, which isn't a big deal honestly. More troubles. Less expectedly than from other situations in the past few months, the general discontent of Turkey has brought thousands of young men and women to protest the government's incapacity to solve the state's unemployment issue and to curb the insanely high inflation rates. We must choose what our next actions will be carefully. The next deal will be certainly more interesting. So we get even more issues overall, but hopefully this will be too long standing. Our pact with Libya has ended. Let's keep the population growth going up. We want a big population to influence more states. Let's see if we are influencing other states. We are influencing Bosnia and Herzegovina, which is interesting. We might get some events for Turkish influence in the future. A new year. Finally, the new year has just started. And decent... okay. So this is talking about the thing I was mentioning earlier. I can't name it, but it's on the screen, so you know what I'm referring to. With the new year just started, a decent batch of news has been communicated to the populations. Basically, a lot of vaccinations are happening, and deaths are down, and the situation is getting better. And happiness is up, which is great, which means we can restart having taxes. Let's keep going. Also, Syria is a Chinese influence state. If you are wondering what these colors are, it's basically done to represent the influences of the various nations. So the green states like this are influenced by Russia, the red states are influenced by China, the orange, I guess, states are influenced by Turkey, not this orange, and the gray states are influenced by the EU, and blue states for our, of course, America. I didn't mean it should be pretty obvious, honestly. The Syrian question. The army of Turkey has been occupying the lands in northern Syria for a year now. The liberation of Aleppo from the recent occupation of Al-Qaeda has caused the growth of Turkish nationalism and irredentism. It has been proposed by the Erdogan administration that we confirm our victory in the Syrian civil war by formally annexing these territories in the Turkish state. So we can have Aleppo as ours. Or we can try to not risk an international crisis. But I want Aleppo, since it's a nice little state, so we will do Aleppo as ours. And we will formally annex Aleppo into Turkey, meaning we will expand our borders. But of course, this is the modern day. We can't expect to expand our country and have no repercussions for it. The Syrian migrant problem. With their exit from the Syrian civil war and the retreating of troops from abroad, there comes the question of what to do with the illegal Syrian immigrants that arrived into our country in mass when the civil war started. Should we allow them to remain and give them citizenship, or should we send them back from where they came from? We can either send them back or give them citizenship, and since we need the population, we'll accept them, although this will, of course, make some parts of the population angry, but we have a pretty good happiness rate, so it's not a real big problem. It also prevents Syria from degrading relations with us even further, so they're already bad relations with us. Usually they're good, now they're at just +8. The consequences of the annexations. Of course, it will be bad. The formal annexation of Aleppo has caused unfortunate consequences on the diplomatic scale. The NATO leadership saw this as the confirmation that we are truly embraced expansionist policies, and Syria has seen this as the ultimate affront to their war-torn country, causing them to cut all relations with us. So of course the West now hates us. As you can see, we have bad relations with all Western countries. That's bad, of course. Now Greece, Bulgaria, Italy, only like some German countries and Bosnia likes us, but the rest are pretty bad. Even with the USA, it's minus 41. And of course that is bad, but at least we got Aleppo. Let's keep going. I also will restart having normal goods. We reached almost 6.5 million populations, which a reminder that in AoH2 population doesn't mean like the actual amount of people, but like the amount of people that contribute to the economy or something, like one per family or something. I think that's the usual thing. I don't know, I don't remember. Economic stagnation. The economy of Turkey has continued to stagnate all throughout 2022 and now 2023. Alright, it's 2023. Erdogan expected the economy to recover as the pandemic slowed down, but the long-term effects of the situation, plus the end of the Syrian civil war, have put Turkey on a path of economic stagnation, one that many think Erdogan's government cannot solve, while the elections are closer than ever. The elections are near, so we have minus economy and minus happiness. Yes, Turkey is a very struggling nation, especially in the modern world. Alright, that's the bad thing. Expelled from NATO. The true diplomatic disaster. The United States, along with the majority of NATO leadership, has announced that Turkey is now expelled from the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, following the illegal annexation of our occupied territories in Syria. With elections closer than ever, this might be the end of Erdogan's career. This is a disaster we get, minus everything, basically. Okay. So our economy still keeps going down. I think I'm gonna start putting some money in economic growth, because otherwise we'll just get poor as hell. Okay. The election, finally. Election of June 2023. The June presidential elections are finally here. While the parties are many, two are the only real futures that the nation of Turkey can take. The coalition, a temporary alliance of all the major parties of Turkey, has decided to go against the previously hegemonic AK party, Erdogan's party. The tensions are extremely high, and the results of the election could do or destroy the future of Turkey. So we can either go with the election for Erdogan or the election of the coalition. So I'm gonna spoil this because of course I'm playing, so it's already a spoiler. And if we go for the election of the coalition, things will be mostly peaceful, while if we go for the Erdogan election, things will not be peaceful. And of course we want some fun, so Erdogan it is, right? Erdogan's re-election. With the surprise of many and the reassurance of others, AK and therefore Erdogan has been re-elected. While the coalition has, at least officially, recognized the results of the election, the people in opposition to Erdogan's regime have created a huge movement against him in particular. For the first time in over 50 years, there are fears of a civil war. Erdogan's new mandate is the start of a new era. So, Turkey's now, okay, mass protests. The fears of many were reassured as hundreds of thousands went to the streets to mass protest to the results of the election, calling them fraudulent and accusing Erdogan of corruption and falsifying the results. The renewed Erdogan administration has been asked to do something about this, before the protests explode into violent riots. Erdogan's next decision may decide the future of the country. We must remain calm or we can extinguish the flame of dissent. Okay, so this is a tricky one. You can either go this way or this way. I am undecided. I think I'm gonna go with we must remain calm, because I don't want to fall into civil war, I think. A pacifist approach. Differently from what many expected, the Erdogan administration has decided to remain neutral on the protests, apart from some minor cases of riots, which have been stopped by the police. The mass protests have been allowed, and with time they withered out, becoming less impactful on the daily lives of the everyday Turks. While the happiness of the population is in shambles, the possibility of a civil war has been safely avoided. This is the right path forwards. So we got minus 15 happiness. Again, we might need to... Okay, so we already have no taxes, which is great. Alright. And we avoided civil war, which would have destroyed our nation. The end of the pandemic. I won't show this, of course, and yeah, it's the end of the pandemic. We get some treasury, some happiness, and some technology, which we lost when we were expelled from NATO. Also, we have not tried to integrate the Kurds, but we can try to assimilate at least the ones in Aksaray and, what is this, Konya? Yeah, Konya. The inflation is through the roof. The inflation crisis has reached its peak. The Turkish lira is now worth only 0.020 of a euro, over 50% inflation rate in less than a decade. The currency, now almost valueless, is seen as by many economists as the 2B Venezuelan bolivar. What was once the price of a phone is now the price of a meal in Istanbul. Man, that's awful. Economy minus 25% and happiness minus 7%. You keep just going worse and worse. The situation gets worse every time we look. Maybe let's just keep the current status when it comes to investments. We don't have any monies for an army. We still have the Cypriot situation here. Stabilizing, I hope. Can't really know about that. Just keep going like this. A new capital. The Erdogan administration has decided to move the capital of Turkey to Istanbul in order to better reflect the reality of where the power and the wealth is located in the country. While this has been applauded by many Westerners as a valid change, the East, especially Ankarans, have seen this as a betrayal of their already dwindling trust. Istanbul is once more our capital, so now our capital moves to Istanbul. Nice. Pretty cool, honestly. Also, you can see the thing that exists in Istanbul. I don't know what is this, like Hagia Sophia. Yeah, interesting. We might want to start influencing some African states, maybe like 20 relations with the Congo Republic and the Cameroon state. At least that'll do something, I guess. No wars in the Middle East. That's awesome. Usually this place goes to hell, so this means it's pretty stable this time. Economic centralization. Following the moving of the capital to Istanbul, Erdogan has started a new number of policy reforms that say will make the country more centralized, putting the majority of the power in Istanbul, hopefully creating a system that can solve the economic issues of the country in an easier and faster manner, by also bringing some tons of development to a new capital. A risky move, but one that will repay itself. So get some tech points, some economic points, and stuff like this. Pretty nice. I think that's valid. Starting to recover economically. We are back to 300,500, like this amount of economy, which is good. Our population has reached 6.5 million. All right. We don't have any money to invest more, so we'll just have to wait. Okay, so this is like the big thing that you get when you actually start going for the Erdogan path. The construction of the Istanbul Canal. With the state more centralized and Istanbul gaining more and more influence by the day, the grand plan of Erdogan to reduce the percentage of unemployment has been revealed, the Istanbul Canal. Although mentioned as early as 2020, the plan would remain afloat as only an idea all the way until now, and Erdogan has decided to fully invest in this idea, hoping it will give hundreds of thousands of jobs as well as create a new route to the Black Sea, and by making Istanbul an island, which will basically mean no more Europe. Like, if it is an island, you can't really count it as Europe, right? That's the thing that we are going for. So we can either do crazy idea and get some population unhappiness, or we can just pay a shitload of money and go for it. And I'm gonna do that. Let's pay a boat of money and start preparations in Istanbul for the canal, which sounds good. Let's keep going and see whatever that brings us. Also get some tech points, which we'll spend in administration, so hopefully we get some more money now. Economic reforms for inflation. After the start of the Istanbul Canal project, the Erdogan administration has now decided to focus on the other great issue that permeates Turkish society and economy, inflation. Erdogan himself has proposed multiple new reforms to aim to reduce inflation, but not many are confident that they will work. It's worth trying, I guess. So we get even more less money, but unless we keep going better with the economy, we reached 450,000 economy, which is great, honestly. Remember, we started like this, so we got back to this status. Also, Libya is still influenced by us. Bosnia and Herzegovina is still influenced by us. Bosnia and Herzegovina has actually made an alliance with Kosovo, which is interesting. And we are finally influencing both Cameroon and the Republic of the Congo, so that's pretty nice, honestly. Military reforms. As Erdogan continues to reform and create new policies of Turkey, the matter of military has come into focus. The great dismay brought by the expulsion of Turkey by NATO, the leadership has forced Turkey to solely rely on its own strength to survive in this decade. For this reason, Erdogan has envisioned a greater army for the Turkish nation, one that puts the one of the past to shame. In order to do it, a new military tax will be imposed on families that don't have at least one member as part of the military. Turkish army will grow. So we get a bunch of troops. Look at that. And of course, it will be costly, but that's the pay we have to pay, the cost we have to pay for that. Let's get all our troops on the border with other nations, so maybe on the Iraq border. So for those that do not know, what happened recently IRL is that Turkey started a military operation, like a special military operation in northern Iraq against the PKK and other Kurdish separatist groups that exist in Iraq that hold like the autonomous zones of northern Iraq. I'm just gonna start repeating this stuff because it's relevant later, since we're gonna eventually attack northern Iraq to fulfill our goals. War with Rojava. With the reforms of the military that Erdogan has planned being completed, the Turkish state needs somewhere to test its military strength. One certain country that's become quite an issue for Erdogan's Turkey is the semi-independent state of Rojava in its south. They've been trying to make the Kurds and Turkey rebel against our dominion since the election, and the illegal fundings of these groups have become a real issue for the Turkish state. Therefore, many think it's time to end this pathetic excuse of a country, so we're at war with Rojava. We'll need all our armies since they have a decent army at least. Not as good as ours, but still pretty decent. Let's see how this war goes. So, they start winning. Okay, that's fine. Still have majority in most places, I think. We might want to relocate some of our armies from here to there. And also, oh, we can't, oh god, we have no money. I thought we had some money. We'll have to take a loan or something, so we can actually pay to get some minor troops here. Damn, okay, we have no, oh, okay. I am more unprepared than I expected, honestly. I thought they have enough to recruit troops here, but since it's mostly Kurdish, we can't. That's bad, that's bad. We're actually losing against Rojava. They can't win, right? They have no events to win, I think. I hope. Okay, I think we got this. Let's keep going here and let's keep going here. Okay. Okay, we only have their capital yet, and everything else is bountiful. And there we go. Rojava is part of Turkey now. Very nice. I have a mosquito that's been flying like along my head for hours now. So, war with Rojava is over. Now to our next target. We don't want Syria, we want to get northern Iraq, as I mentioned earlier. We don't have a war event for it because it's a decision I can make. Because I could also not invade it, but at the same time I kind of want northern Iraq, right? Like we got northern Syria. Look at that. Borders of Turkey expanded. Also we got even worse relations with Syria because now we annexed part of their not really territory, but also kind of territory. You know, that's the jure, the jure and the de facto. Okay, let's do it. Let's start the invasion of Iraq. They should have like numerical inferiority to us, of course. We just want to get the Kurdish majority areas, so this area here. Everything else we can spare and we don't need to annex. It's just a matter of the Kurdish areas, just like Iraq. Oh, okay, they do have some army. I thought they had less than that. I think we can still have the majority. Right, okay, that's fine. That's good. Alright, all good. Let's get to Baghdad, and hopefully after that they will accept a fast peace deal. So we don't have to worry anymore. Alright, Baghdad is taken. Hopefully that will be enough for us. Something like this, I expect. Maybe like that. Yeah, this looks fine, right? Alright, I think we're finished here, honestly. We got what we wanted, we expanded our country, we influenced some states across the world. I won't show... you'll probably notice that I'm not showing much of the world right now because, of course, events, and I won't want to show them. You can probably already guess what's something that has happened because I showed some glimpse of it, but that's practically it for this episode, and I just wanted to show you some like leak of what the 1.3 updates look like. And yeah, if you enjoyed it, remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel and keep the notification bell up so you can get the notification for when the mod actually comes out, or join the server, which is equally good. See you next time.